Oh, Joseph wasn't going to lie to himself. The walk to the kotel that his uncle had just taken him on was a scary one. They had walked through the Silvan Valley, escorted by armed guards through an incredibly hostile Arab neighborhood. The Arab residents had screamed indecipherable curses at them and pelted them with rocks. If not for his uncle and the armed guards, Joseph wasn't sure he would have made it. He committed to playing it safe and walking to the kotel from this point on through the usual and safe path. As he sat at the kotel listening to the Chazan repeat the Shemona Esrei, Joseph's morning terror had caused him to reflect on this week's Sedra. Joseph recalled the pasuk that stated the men rose from there, and they looked upon Sodom, and Avram went with them to escort them. The men Avram escorted were the three angels who had visited Avram and Sarah to tell them about the upcoming birth of their son. In his commentary on this pasuk, Rashi wrote that Avram had escorted his guests because he thought they were travelers and actual men. Rashi's opinion that Avram didn't realize his guests were angels isn't universally accepted, but according to both viewpoints, his actions teach us a great lesson. In his codification of the laws of obligatory acts of kindness that must be performed for others, the Rambam wrote the reward one receives for accompanying guests out of one's home is greater than all the other aspects of hosting guests. This is a law which Avram, our patriarch, instituted, and the path of kindness which he would follow. He would feed wayfarers, provide them with drinks, and accompany them out of his home. Showing hospitality for guests surpasses receiving the divine presence. This means that it is more important to greet guests than to involve yourself in understanding God. The Rambam continued by saying that as great as hosting guests at one's house is, accompanying them out of one's house is greater than showing them hospitality. Our sages said whoever does not accompany his guests out of his home is considered as if he shed blood. Joseph recognized that there are two aspects to the requirement to escort one's guests out of his house. The first is protecting them from harm, or getting lost on a road they are unfamiliar with. And the second is showing honor to one's guests. And escorting the angels or men, depending on whether you accept Rashi's contention that Avram didn't know he was hosting angels or not, out of his house, Avram set the model for hosts after him. If not for that model, who knows if Joseph's uncle Akiva would have escorted Joseph through the dangerous neighborhood on their way to the kotel that morning. Shabbat Shalom.